Hi guys, welcome back. Dave here. This is my third video now, and this will be about the start of my weight loss journey. It's going to be about the weight loss before the surgery, before I'd even consider it, and obviously what I tried to do and what successes, or really more lack of success, that I had with my weight loss. So it's give you an idea to set where I was. It's 2011 roughly, and I wasn't in a great place. It was pretty much a deep part of my heavy online gaming. I would spend many hours away, sort of stuck in my bedroom. I wouldn't socialise with many people, and I was really kind of starting to lose a connection with the outside world. And I went to the doctor, or as in the UK we call them GP, general practitioner. I think I went for my feet. I think I had an infection on my foot. I can't remember now. And he just sort of did a general checkup, and he tested different things. And one of the things he tested was my weight. And he sort of looked at me, and he had this sort of grim, determined look on his face. And he went, "David, I'm looking at your weight, and the records we show here is that you're putting on at least a stone, if not more, every year, which is, to give you an idea, that's about 6.3 kilograms or 14 pounds a year." And he just went to me, he went, "Dave, I give you at most 5, maybe 10 years. Bearing in mind at this time I was about 30, he said, give you 5-10 years and you're going to be dead. You're going to have a heart attack or some other cardiac arrest. You're going to probably die quite painfully, and it's not going to be a dignified death." I was in quite a lot of shock. Now you could say that what he said was quite horrible or unfair, or he didn't need to be so harsh with me, but it really scared me to my core to think that my life, every single day where I was as big as I was just throwing my life away, and I wasn't going to be alive much longer at this rate. So at this early rate, he obviously noticed that I was quite upset, and he started to try and offer me some support. And one of the things he offered me was a local service known as Tipping the Balance, which I actually refused and said that I didn't want it. That's not what I wanted. And sadly at the time, I really wanted the quick fix, so I asked if there was any medication. He said there was, and he said he'd agreed to give it to me, and I gave it a go. It's known as Orlistat here in the UK, and you can get it on the NHS prescription, but obviously they don't always give it out. Now, the way Orlistat works is, what it does, it prevents your body from absorbing from the food about a third of the fat you eat, and obviously the undigested fat, because it's not absorbed by your body, it comes out of your body, and it comes out in your poo. I'm sorry, it's horrible, some people don't like poo, but it comes out in your poo. And obviously it doesn't really help you to lose weight, but it does help you to avoid gaining weight, because obviously if you eat these fatty foods, you're going to put weight on. Now I gave the med a go, and obviously it wasn't very nice, especially because I was still eating large amounts of high fatty foods like pizza and sort of, other really high fatty things like burgers and stuff. And I will be honest now, my mum, bless her, she absolutely hated me because our toilet took a beating. It was disgusting. I'm not going to deny about this, and I know it's horrible when some of you might go, "Oh God, too much info, TMI, too much info." But it's simply the matter of the fact, and it was a horrible medication. I did have mixed results on it. I'd lost a little bit of weight on it, but I just sort of put it back on. I didn't really gain much benefit out of it, apart from making my poor mum having to bleach the toilet every couple of days and give me the scowl that mums like to when they're having to tidy up behind you. So obviously I had to try something different because it wasn't working for me. I did try adjusting my diet, and I did try exercising. Now, sadly, it didn't go very well with the exercising. I know why it didn't go very well, and I can know when I say this, a lot of people might sort of connect with this feeling, because it got to a point where exercise was just too painful for me. I was so big to go for even a 10-15 minute walk. It was agony. I was struggling to breathe. My back was killing me. My legs were hurting me. I was breathless. And it's just horrible, and you feel this real horrible sense of weakness and failure. And with that sort of area, the motivation just was really struggling for me, especially with any form of diet, because I really liked these foods. I liked eating the really sugary, fatty foods because they made me feel better. So at the time, despite this, death message in a way from my doctor, it just wasn't enough to push past my mental state, who I was, and how unhappy I was. There was also an attempt to have me go see a dietitian here in the UK on the NHS, and sadly, I know when I say this that some of you will understand it. When I went to see the dietitian, it didn't go very well, because she was this lovely girl, bless her. She was very polite, very, very, quite nice, but she was a slim girl, bless her. And I sat down with her. She could see that I was clearly quite overweight, and she just went, "Hi Dave, so let's talk about your diet." Okay. She was like, "Well, here's the things you can't have. Don't have this." Right? Okay. So you should be eating this. Do this. Don't eat that. Okay. I'm not. Bear in mind, I'm not. As soon as she started talking like this, bless her, I just shut off. I didn't want to know, because the food was my crutch. The food was my life. It was my way of escaping from my crushing depression. I weren't ready to listen to that. So sadly, that had quite a negative effect on me. Now, I know some of you might obviously understand that, because you might have been there yourselves, and it's not to say that what she was trying to do was wrong, it just wasn't right for me at the time. So eventually, this is like about a year and a half, I've made very little to no progress. I've tried medication, I've tried changing my diet, eating healthier, I've tried exercise, and none of it's working. I'm not getting anywhere, right? So I'm back to the doctor again, and this is when he says to me, "Dave, what about tipping the balance?" And instead of the first time I don't know what changed, and I'm going to be honest and upfront, I can't remember what changed for me here, why all of a sudden this time when he mentioned tipping the balance, I just said, okay, let's just give it a go. Because before, when he originally advised it to me, I just dismissed it. Now, whether that's because I didn't feel like I had any other options and I'd finally given up, I don't know, but I said I'll give it a go. So, obviously, I went to tipping the balance, but I will talk about that in the next video, because tipping the balance is a local tier 3 service on the NHS. Not all parts of the UK get the same type of support that I got from tipping the balance, and obviously I don't know how it will work in other parts of the world, but I will talk about the journey with tipping the balance and how really it was a change in focus and a change in the level of support that I got, because one thing I will say now is, sadly, within the health profession there is this underlying fat stigma that comes up towards overweight people, and it's difficult to say, because on the one hand, health practitioners are trying to help you get healthier. That's their remit, that's their job. But as within, like for example, the dietitian, they do sadly sometimes all they see is someone that's fat, and they don't want to know why that person got there. They don't want to get to know who that person is. What's happened to them in their life that's made to get them to that point. And sadly, often very much in our NHS, they generally look for a quick fix because it's cheaper, and it's the same around all the world. It's all based around money. So, but the tip and balance for me, to go back to it, was a turning point, because the level of support and the way the support was handed to me was just totally different, and it was so much better, and I was given quite a lot of time to express why I was where I was, and obviously that's where I eventually got offered the surgery, but I'll explain that in the next video. So thank you very much for watching. Obviously please like, subscribe and share the video so we can get the word out there. One thing which has come up in a couple of things which people have mentioned is that obviously when it comes to the weight loss journey and like gastric surgery, there's a lot of information about the journey for women, but men, we have tendencies not to share our emotional states and share our journeys in a sense. There are men that do it, but it's not as common as women, so that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this video. So obviously if you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comments below, because obviously I'll happily reply to them, or I will try to reply them in the next video. So thank you very much, hope you have a lovely day, and I shall see you later. Bye.